All right, good morning. It is May 3rd, the beginning of a new month. It's almost springtime. The weather out today is super nice, and I'm having a good week. The last week was actually, by the numbers, stagnant, but I'm feeling pretty optimistic about it. Maintained my diet. The week before was a pretty big loss, and I've got an interesting thing to talk about today, which is I've got some I think that some of the results here are really interesting. There's basically three things on here that are a little bit outside of normal range that I thought was kind of interesting. So the first thing is albumin. So albumin is apparently this hormone that's a protein that's found in your blood that's supposed to help you transport various hormones and nutrients and whatever around your body. And your liver produces it, and then your kidney filters it out. It apparently can get a little high if you're dehydrated or like eating a lot of meat. I'm definitely eating a lot of meat. Maybe I was dehydrated at the point of the blood test. But it's, it says right here, high albumin may be the result of dehydration or severe diarrhea. I definitely don't have diarrhea, and I looked up other symptoms that are consistent with like high albumin, which basically means you have a problem in your kidneys or your liver. I don't have any of those, so I'm not really super concerned about this, but maybe I should drink more water. Shouldn't everybody? So the next thing on the blood test that I thought was kind of interesting was the vitamin D levels. The normal vitamin D range is 30 nanograms per milliliter to 100 nanograms per milliliter. I am at 29.43, so I am technically vitamin D insufficient. I'm not deficient, that's below 20, and I'm not optimal, that's 30 to 100. I am at 29.43. Now, this could easily be like a rounding error or something kind of weird going on, but obviously it would be a lot better if it was kind of like more in the normal range. I know that I went to this blood test fasted and whatever, but still, it probably could be higher. And I live in the northern hemisphere, I live in the north part of the US, so it's cold as hell in the wintertime. We're just coming off winter. It's just starting to get warm. I'm really looking forward to spending more time outside and just getting more natural vitamin D exposure. I'm going to continue to take my multivitamin. But the good thing about the vitamin D test is that there was also a test for calcium and phosphatase. I don't know if that's the same thing as phosphorus. I don't know if that's just like a specific form of phosphorus. But the Cleveland Clinic site I found says basically that like you need vitamin D to process calcium and phosphorus, and I don't have any of those outside of normal ranges. In fact, if anything, my calcium was just like a little bit high, and this like it's on the higher end of the normal range. And this thing says if you've got bad vitamin D deficiency, you don't have a lot of calcium. You have hypoglycemia, calcemia, right? So that's like low calcium levels. I don't have low calcium anywhere near it. And this phosphatase test is like just smack dab in the middle of the range. So looks pretty good to me. I've got high LDL cholesterol. It's like 239 and the normal range is 134 to 200. So that's not good, I think. My doctor doesn't seem super concerned about it, probably because I'm in my mid-20s and I'm probably not going to die of a heart attack or a stroke or like some other blood clot related thing, right? I probably don't have that much cholesterol buildup in my arteries or my veins or whatever, but it's still bad. So I've got this like little thing from the Cleveland Clinic here. How do I lower my LDL cholesterol? And I'm actually doing this stuff currently. So I want to get that blood test later when I lose the weight more and have been doing this stuff for longer, right? So it's eat heart healthy foods, avoid smoking, get more physical activity, maintain a healthy weight. So that's a big one that I'm doing right now, right? Find ways to lower your stress. I'm not really a stressed out guy. I work in software, and I feel like I don't have a lot of like family stress or financial stress or anything like that. So I'm not, things are going good. I think I'm a pretty laid back person, all things considered. I'm sure a lot of my friends would agree. So I'm not really in that high stress kind of like I don't really do that. That's probably not a risk factor for me. For me, on this list, it's probably like I could eat more vegetables and fruit. I am reasonably doing exercise, actually. I'm doing like 30 minutes of aerobic exercise a day. Yeah, I'd say like about, it probably averages out. Some days I don't really do it. Some days I do like an hour, if not more. And the healthy weight thing, obviously, this is the big thing, I think, on the list for me at the moment. Because, I mean, hopefully if I'm just like less fat, I have less cholesterol in my bloodstream. Something actually really interesting that I thought about the cholesterol was I recently started taking a protein powder, or using a protein powder, which is the gold standard one, which I think tastes a lot better than the ISO 100 one that I used to be using. But it also has literally like 10 times the cholesterol. It's not that much cholesterol. It's just the ISO 100 had basically no cholesterol. So I'm kind of thinking like, it tastes so much better, but maybe I should just go back to the other one because it legitimately didn't have that much cholesterol, and I probably don't need more of it in my diet outside of just like the normal kind of food I consume. So definitely a consideration. So overall blood test, I think looking all right. I'm not really super concerned about it. I'm like, nothing is like super outside of normal range. So the next thing I want to talk about is, so I was basically trying to get ChatGPT to output me like a version of the graph that I can just run on my like local Python IDE. But for some reason it kept fucking up, and I kept asking it to fix it, and I didn't actually want to go through and debug it and understand the code that it wrote. So I got this chart that looks kind of okay. It's not as smooth as the last one, but it's got a new data point over there on the right. You can see like the x-axis is messed up. I'll fix it. Don't worry. But basically, unfortunately, right, the check-in this week was like 0.2 pounds above last week. I am not concerned about this at all. Obviously, it's nice for line go down, but I'm really not concerned about this. So I think that like on average, right, 4 pounds in like a 2-week time span is like fine if we're averaging it out. And I'm not really concerned about this. I think this is probably just my body being like, whoa, a lot of, fat loss and weight drop all at once. Let's retain some water. So probably next week I will just go down some more. I'm really not worried about this. It looks good to me, and I'm pretty optimistic about this week. I really like seeing line goes down, but for some reason this week I'm just not bothered by this like stagnation. It like looks fine to me. I'm really optimistic. Yeah, weight loss is going good. Not feeling at all discouraged by the stagnant week. Will continue. Looks good. And I think that in general, I should just kind of continue my whole, more healthy lifestyle trend for the LDL thing. I think on my entire blood test, that's probably the most worrying part of it. But I'm really not that worried because I'm in my mid-20s and I have time to fix things. But dilly-dallying is bad, but there's time. Expect more content.